everyone, I am Dr. Sonali and I welcome you all to CSC Core Concepts in the series of Learning Python. Now we are done with the basic Python. So we have learned about the data types, keywords and various types of loopings and conditional statements, functions, recursions. So I hope you know you have practiced them and you know the basics of Python by now. So now the next step here is that we are going to get started with object-oriented programming with Python. So basically what is an object-oriented programming? Okay, so those who have already done with C++, they might have an idea C++, Java or some similar to that. But in case if you are not a follower, in case if you have not studied about those courses, does not matter. I will explain to you what does object-oriented programming means. So basically what we do is that the developers want something where they can have certain codes which can be reusable. Reusable means when you are writing 10,000 lines of codes, and if in the second project again if you have to write the similar codes, then they are difficult. So sometimes we want to have certain codes repeatedly using in some other problems, right? So instead of rewriting them again and again, we can create a modular type of a coding. Modular type means we can divide our codes into small modules which are maintainable and which are scalable. Scalable means what? In case if I am making a system, so I have a login system, I can separate it with this others. Maybe I have a system called as a purchase system, right? So I have a separate module. Then I have a selling system. So now if my another project demands login, I can get it used, right? So they are scalable. In fact, if I can make certain changes and reuse them also. So basically what we do is that the line of code which we do keep on writing and writing, instead of doing that, we are going to divide them into something called as classes. An object. Now remember, these are the two terms which are very important in this whole object oriented programming, that is classes and object. They are used to represent the real world entities and the behavior. Behavior means what actions they do. As and when we will keep on studying, you will get understood to it. What do we mean by them? So in object oriented programming, the object will have attributes, right? As we write the variables we used to write. So here we are going to have the attributes and it supports certain features. So the features here are encapsulation, that is binding of methods and objects. And inheritance means if I am using one class, it can be used by some other classes also, that is called as inheritance. Polymorphism. So these are some of the features of object oriented programming, and if you don't know, don't worry about that. Each of them, these features we are going to study in detail. A separate video will be there on each of these features with live practical examples. So these are the four pillars we say of the object oriented programming: encapsulation, abstraction, inheritance and polymorphism. So we will get started with them one by one. But before we can get started with those pillars and everything, we need to understand what is a class, okay, and how to create a class in Python, what are objects, what are methods. So let us see about the classes. So classes are nothing but collection of objects. So what is a class? A class is going to define a set of attributes, methods that are created objects. Objects means instances, right? See, classes are created if I have one object, right? Now I want to define certain functions for that, certain attributes for that. So instead of writing them separately, I can bind all of them and group them into one class. Understood? So this is what a class means. Let's say I have a car class, right? Now I want to store certain features about a car. This is my program, right? I have a showroom and I am storing certain features about my car. So what are the features I am storing about the car? That is the brand name. Okay, I have a, let's say, pre-owned car showroom. So where multiple brand cars come. Right. Then I have something called as the model number of the car, the year. These are the important features when you resell a car. Understood? Now these are what the attributes of the car. Now I can have certain functions also, like setting the brand name, setting the mileage, etc. So these are the functions, right? So instead of writing each of them separately and doing that, I can bind all of them in one class, right? So now how to write a class here? So we use the keyword class to define. Okay, then we have to initialize the class. I have certain attributes of the class. So we write using these terms. So let's see what we have is that, let's say I have a class dog. Okay, so now if I have a class called as dog, right, I am defining. So what is my dog? Dog, it will create a class dog. Now here I have a car class, so I can say class car, right? It will create a class named car, which is a blueprint for all the car or the dog object. Now let's say if I have a class dog, and if I am saying species. Okay, every dog has some species. So what is a species? It is an attribute. Like in car, we have attributes, brand, model, year, etc. Right? So they are the attributes, and the attributes can be shared by all instances of the class. What are the instances of the class? Let's say, for example, if I am saying car. So I am talking about one particular car C. So this C is an instance of this class car. Suppose if I have a dog, let's say Labrador. Labrador is an instance of the class dog. Now, if C is an instance of the class car, it can access all the attributes. That means C will also have brand name, model and year. If Labrador can also have the attributes of the class, what species it has. It is one of the attribute, right? Then here is something specialized. You can see this is double underscore. Don't mistake for one. They are two. In it, then again double score and a round bracket. It is a constructor method that runs automatically when the new object is created. You don't have to call it, right? It will execute automatically. So anything if you want to initialize, you have to write in this method, right? And then comes self. This keyword we have seen here also, self, right? So this is the first thing what you have to write in the init object. It refers to the current object. Current means this. We used to have a this operator, right, in C++. So here it is the self, right? And self dot name means current instance's name. So this current dog name is Simba, let's say. Current dog's age is, let's say, 3 years, right? So that one is your self. So shall we try creating one class first of all? So I am of course doing it in Google Colab. So let us write a class. So first the keyword has to be write a class value, then car. Then of course you have to write you have to initialize. Yeah, so define double underscore. Then you write init double underscore and. The first argument is what? Self. Now you can have other arguments based on your requirement. Let's say brand. Okay. Then you can say model. Then you can say the year. Anything you can apply and a colon and done. Now you have to assign self dot brand is equals to brand. Okay. So you are initializing whatever values you are going to pass from the parameter. When you will call this function, they will be assigned to the current instance. So self dot model is equals to model and self dot year is equals to year, right? So that's it. So my class has been created. So you can see some green tick is there. Class has been created. Now I have to create some instance of the class. Instance means what? Those who will use these values, right? So to create an instance of the class, it says you have to define a car. Let's say car1 is equals to capital car. This is the class name. And now you have to pass the value. Let's say you are saying Toyota. Brand name is Toyota. You don't have to write anything for self, right? Toyota. Then the model is, let's say, any Etios. Let's say Etios. And the year is, let's say, 1998. Or say, let's say, 2020. Okay. So this is my value, right? Now you may want to print these values, right? So if you want to print these values, how are you going to call it? Print car1 dot and the method and the attributes. Now these attributes, where had you defined? You have defined these attributes in the class car, right? And this car1 is a instance of the class car. Okay, so car can have many instances. If you have 10 cars in the showroom, so all 10s are the instances of your class car. And automatically these all instances will have these attributes. They will inherit, right? So car1 dot brand you are going to print. Then print, you can write it in one single line also. Car1 dot model and car1 dot your year. Okay, done. So you can simply print it and you can see, right? So what did we do here? What is an object will consist of the state. State is represented by the attributes and reflects the properties of the object, that brand, model, year. Behavior is the method of the object and identity will give a unique name to the object. So this is how you have defined. So basically what we did right now is that we created a class called as car and we had defined the some of the attributes we initialized. See, did I call this function init anywhere? No, I didn't explicitly call, because since it is an init function, it will be implicitly called when this class instance is created. So I don't need to write a separate. But yes, if I am printing something extra, right? Let's say define. I say okay, I am writing a function. What it is suggesting me? Self. Here you have to write self in the argument. Self means what? Okay, this data belongs to the current instance. And if I am writing print, this car is working. Okay, now you see. If I am executing, I have to re-execute because I did some changes. It is only getting printed this much. It is not printing this. Why? Because this is not an init method and I have to call it explicitly. So how will I call it? Car1 dot. Using the dot method, I will call drive and I will simply call it because there is nothing to pass as an argument. So now it is printing. Okay, so I hope you understood this. So this is called as the method. These methods are nothing but the functions, right? So what is a method? That we will see. What are the types of the methods? All this we are going to discuss. There are 3 types of methods and all the methods we are going to discuss one by one in my next video. So stay tuned and don't forget to like, share and subscribe to this channel, and please practice on your own creating the classes. Otherwise you won't be able to create classes, and when you will start creating object oriented programming, you will realize how much easy it makes your programming. Thank you.